So I'm gonna backtrack a little bit to bless you. Um, X-Men. There's this whole controversy about Magneto and the fact that it's 2026. We are now 80 some years from World War II.
Yeah.
And the big debate is Jesus Christ. Anywho's origin story with Magneto.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go by the lore, he can de-age. He ages slowly. The significant to me with Magneto, that is an important thing with his storyline. And I don't think you could ever recast Magneto as just a guy who's been persecuted without that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've tried to do a deep delve, and they said they've done it in storylines before where it wasn't his backstory, which I don't know if I really buy into that. But where do you think we should be with that when it comes to Magneto in a 2026 storyline with X-Men present day? Is that something that's needed, and how could we make him relevant? I hate saying that because
Yeah.
we
I know
shouldn't
what you
say
mean.
we shouldn't say like, oh, we should ignore 80 some years ago when that shit was going down and millions of people were being slaughtered. So I don't want to sit there and make it passe,
I
but
know what you
can we do that? Like, can we do a Magneto without? I mean, I've seen some TikToks, and I think it's more for people trying to get likes more than anything. But
mean.
I've seen several people like, well, we should make it more Malcolm X and Martin Luther to make it more relatable, which I get.
Yeah.
But I get at the end of the day, I'm just like, I mean, I don't know how much you want to. I don't know. I'm like, I don't know what you can do with Magneto and not try to represent what his actual storyline represents.
Right. Um, that's going to be tricky because
Yep.
if anyone remembers, they didn't do the Holocaust stuff with Magneto until like much later. 'Cause when he first came out, they didn't say he was,
No,
a
he
Jewish.
had very again kind of like the Joker in the very beginning. He didn't have backstory. He was just
Right.
a
Same thing
mutant.
with same thing with Wolverine. He didn't really have a backstory. But with Magneto, it's going to be tricky because you obviously want to make his storyline work in modern day society,
Yep.
and I mean, there's been a lot of other tragedies, that, but not to downplay the Holocaust, obviously, because
Right. 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 Right.
that was horrible. Like thousands, hundreds of thousands of human
Like
beings,
you want to talk about tragedies? Top three.
you know, um, or top one, or just one. But like, you know, I don't know. Like it's tricky because you can go you can go the Captain America route and just say that he was a Jew in World War I, and he was tortured. He was captured and tortured by Hydra scientists,
And then
and
Frozen.
he was frozen, and then he woke up, and he just woke up to a world that he hated because he hated mankind because he saw how evil and how cruel mankind could be. Or it could be, or I mean, there's been lately in the news, you can go topical of Jews being persecuted. Of uh, again,
Oh, oh
I want to get
shit. I
I
mean,
want to make sure I'm getting it right. Messiah, not messiahs, but what are they called? Jewish churches. What are they
I,
called?
you're kind of asking the wrong dude.
Anyone listening? What are Jewish churches called? Because I want to make sure I'm getting it. I don't want to offend anyone. But like
it starts
temple?
with M.
Is it temples?
I don't know. This is a conversation I would love to have with either Draper or RJ, either or. Which I would love for you to bring this up with RJ. to see what his thoughts would be on this. And I would love to have this talk with John too,
Yeah.
because they're
So
both they're so much
Is it
more.
Moss? Is it
Yes.
Moss? Okay, there you go. Like, mosques, they're being ransacked and vandalized and broken into. And, in the last 3 years, there's been a lot of Jewish attacks. So you can play around with like real world issues of like, Eric Lenscher grew up in a family that actually had Coke saying synagogues. All right, there you go.
Okay.
Where like he grew up in a family where his grandparents or his great grandparents, they were Holocaust survivors, and they told him horror stories of what happened there, and it stuck
And
with
he's
him.
still facing those kind of trepidations.
Yeah, and he grew up in a certain neighborhood where it was very racist and very anti-Semitic, and now he's in a world where it feels like racism is almost accepted. Where unfortunately, that's kind of the world we live in, where
Yep.
racism seems like it's more accepted than anything, and that's scary to think about. So for a guy like Eric Venture who grew up watching his parents struggle, um, and then had a family of his own, and then something happened to them, and that just made him hate humanity. And
Right.
right around the time when he lost his family, that's when the snap happened.
And it. Oh shit! Nice.
You can do that, like the snap. Both snaps uh, caused everyone's X gene, their mutant gene, to enhance.
That's so right. Yep.
Especially the younger mutants, like because Jean was saying that she didn't get her powers until much later, which she wasn't born.
Yep.
Same thing with Cyclops. Like Scott Summers, woke up one day and he just saw red. He's like, "What the fuck?" And then somewhere out in Calgary, a certain James Howlett, or well, I think we'll get to Wolverine later. I don't want to talk about it. But Magneto, let's just say maybe he always felt something in his bones, but he didn't really know what it was. He couldn't really control it. And then the snap, which irradiated gamma, enhanced it.
Yeah.
So
And also with that can fuel his hate, and that just kind of sparks the mutant gene.
Right. So for him, he just felt so much rage and guilt because he's like, I didn't have the power to help my family. Now I do, but it's too late because they're not here anymore.
Yeah, you brought up a great point, especially with today's headlines and everything that's going on over there. I mean, that can line up some perfect ingredients for a current day Eric to sit there and be like,
Right.
this shit angers me. I'm feeling different. All of a sudden, oh shit, I can control metal.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. I like that.
Option B is you can just change it to another tragedy. Like you could, and by changing tragedy, you would have to change maybe the race. You can do a black Magneto, where this one was caught up in Rwanda. The tragedy in Rwanda. The movie Hotel. That's what it was about.
Right.
I mean, again, there's so many other tragedies, or you can really go bold and just maybe cast a Middle Eastern actor, where he was in the Afghani war or the Kuwait war. Like he saw his family murdered and murdered by Americans. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with this interpretation, because they're really going to have to both be bold, but also tread lightly.
Yeah.
Because regardless of what you do, you're going to piss a lot of people off. Unfortunately, it's going to be a mix of people who are not the brightest, bulbs in the bunch. And we already know who those people are.
Right.
Not that
And
they
like you
matter.
say, what this first movie, if they just concentrate on Sinister, we don't need Magneto.
No, I mean, you don't need Magneto.
Right.
You can tease him, but he doesn't need to be in this movie.
Yeah.
I think certain mutants, obviously you can't do the thing of like, we've been here the whole time. Like, no, you can't do that because it wouldn't make sense. I think for certain mutants, a Wolverine would be an easier sell as like, I've been here the whole time, but I just don't give a fuck.
Right. I've been
You
doing my
know,
own shit.
like Wolverine certainly didn't give a fuck about what was happening in Infinity War because he was living by himself probably, and he didn't
Yep.
care about Endgame. He was just like, I really don't care because fuck all of you. Man did this to me. Why should I help Man out?
Right.
So Wolverine's probably the easiest sell. Like, I've been here the whole time. I just don't care.
Fuck you, kids.
Fuck your Avengers movie. Fuck all. But keep Wolverine the fuck away from these movies for a while.
Yes, please. We don't need that again.
Obviously, cast a different actor because you can't bring in a 50-year-old Hugh Jackman to fall in love with a 20-year-old.
He's damn near fucking 60 now.
I mean, I know Hugh Jackman looks great for his age, but it's like, come on, that's just weird. That's weird. That'd be fucking weird as shit.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how I look at it. How would you kind of go about it? Curious.
With Magneto?
Yeah.
You know what? At first, I initially thought if we're going to go the Sinister route, let's just make the trilogy around Sinister. We don't need Magneto. But as soon as you brought up current events, I was like, God, you really could make a current day Magneto based on stuff that's going on in the Middle East. Because it still deals with that kind of Jewish heritage and the conflicts and everything like that. And you can have a young Magneto says like, man, my grandparents died and fought for me to live. My parents barely got through. And now I'm still seeing this hate and war. And then it just triggers his fucking mutation. And he's just like, I've had enough. Fuck these humans. He's like, I'm going to get my brotherhood. He's like, I'm going to find people like me. And we're going to end this shit my way.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a really, really good idea. So, but what? I mean, it's gonna hit that line, and I don't know if Disney's gonna want to hit that line. So we'll see.
We'll see. That's good discussion. I might just I might just clip that and put that on the.
I mean, that's a great discussion. I mean, that's why I brought it up, because I saw a lot of people saying, how can you bring Magneto with his lineage? The fact that it's an 80 and thing that I was like, fuck. I was like, that's such a touchy subject because you're trying to downplay something that literally was a worldly life-changing event in the 1940s. Yeah, it was fucking 80 some years ago, but doesn't change the fact that millions and millions of people died. And the fact that Eric Lyncher's may not be his OG story, but it is the backbone of what we've come to learn and love and hate about him, especially with fucking X-Men 97.
Yeah, Hulk Hogan, he controls metal, but there's much more to him than just a guy who controls metal. There's more pathos
yeah. He's
so.
Omega level. Like he can sit there and do, and
Yeah,
that's one of the things that people talked about is like, well, with his abilities, he can sit there and he ages a lot slower. So a 50-year-old Professor X, Magneto may still look fucking 35 or 40.
Yeah.
Based on their lineage. So we'll see. We'll see where they